Good afternoon to everyone present in this meeting. I am P. Sarma, Assistant Professor and HOD Department of Computer Science, Manohari Devi Kanu Girls College, Dibrugarh. I welcome you all on this online lecture series on web technology organized by Department of Computer Science MDKG College, Dibrugarh in collaboration with the Department of Computer Science, Tinsukia College, Tinsukia. We have with us today many distinguished guests who have been actively serving the academic society at various institutions and designations. Before we begin today's session, I would like to take privilege for introducing our estimated guest. We have today with us Dr. Ujjal Saikia, Assistant Professor of Center for Computer Science and Application, Dibrugarh University. He has more than 13 years of experience as a teacher. He has done his MCA from Jorhat Engineering College and MSc in Statistics in Dibrugarh University. He has done his PhD in computer science from Dibrugarh University. He has recipient of numerous awards and have authority of many research papers in national and international journals. He also the academic counselor of MCA BCA program under IGNOU Dibrugarh University Study Center, mentor of PGDCA course at Center for Computer Science and Application, assistant coordinator for Junior Software Developer Program in CSSDU under AICTE. And he was the former web admin of www.ccsdu.in. He was also the member and observer of MK Dibrugarh University. He is also the technical coordinator for implementing SOYAM course 2021 at Dibrugarh University. We also have Dr. Parishmita Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology, Guwahati University. Right now, she is not present, but in tomorrow's session, she will teach us about CSS file. She has 20 years teaching experience in various colleges and universities of Assam with specialization in speech technology and image processing. Dr. Sharma has acquired her MTech degree from Tezpur University and PhD from Guwahati University. She has more than many research publications in international journals and referred conference proceedings in active members of many international communities. We also have fortunate to have with us Dr. Mirzanul Rahman, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology, Guwahati University. Dr. Rahman has done his MTech degree in Information Technology from Tezpur University and PhD from Guwahati University. He has teaching experience of more than 10 years in various institutions. His specialization in speech technology and has keen interest in the field of image processing. Dr. Rahman has numerous research publications in various reputed journals and have participated in national and international conferences. We also have with us today Dr. Anju Bora, Associate Professor and Vice Principal of MDKG College, Dr. Bora ma'am has more than 34 years of teaching experience and specialization in comparative studies in Assamese literacy. We also have our HOD of Tinshukia College, Mr. Farooq Hussain sir. After introducing all our guests for today, I believe we can proceed with this session. To begin with, I would like to request Dr. Anju Madam to deliver welcome and inaugural speech.
Good evening. মনোহাৰী দেৱী কানৈ মহিলা মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ কম্পিউটাৰ ছায়েন্স বিভাগৰ উদ্যোগত আৰু তিনিচুকীয়া মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ কম্পিউটাৰ ছায়েন্স বিভাগৰ সহযোগত আয়োজিত অনলাইন লেকচাৰ ছিৰিজৰ ৱেব টেকনলজি বিষয়ক তিনিদিনীয়া কৰ্মশালাৰ আজি আৰম্ভণিৰ অনুষ্ঠান। কৰ্মশালাখনলৈ আমন্ত্ৰিত সমল ব্যক্তিসকল ক্ৰমে ডিব্ৰুগড় বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ কম্পিউটাৰ ছায়েন্স এপ্লিকেশ্যন বিভাগৰ ডক্টৰ উজ্জ্বল কুমাৰ শইকীয়া দেৱ, গুৱাহাটী বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ ইনফৰমেশ্যন টেকনলজি বিভাগৰ ডক্টৰ পৰিস্মিতা শৰ্মা আৰু গুৱাহাটী বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰে ইনফৰমেশ্যন টেকনলজি বিভাগৰ ডক্টৰ মিৰ্জানুৰ ৰহমান ডাঙৰীয়াক দুয়োখন মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ হৈ অনুষ্ঠানলৈ আদৰণি জনাইছোঁ। অনুষ্ঠানত অংশগ্ৰহণকাৰী সকলোকে এই অনুষ্ঠানলৈ আদৰণি জনাইছোঁ আৰু কৰ্মশালাখনৰ সফল সামৰণি কামনা কৰিছোঁ। লগতে তিনিদিনীয়া কৰ্মশালাখনৰ সফলতা কামনা কৰি অনুষ্ঠানটো উদ্বোধন কৰা হ'ল বুলি ঘোষণা কৰিছোঁ। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, Madam. I believe the energy of our student participants have been raised by your valuable words. Now I request Mr. Farooq Hussain sir, HOD of Department of Computer Science, Tinsukia College, to deliver objective and overview of the program.
Good evening to all of you participants on today's web series, online web series technologies organized by Department of Computer Science, MDK College, with collaboration with Computer Science, Tinsukia College, Tinsukia. So as all of you know, in their first day that we will going to learn about the JavaScript. And definitely this lecture series is intended to teach the basic involved in publishing content on the World Wide Web. This includes the scripting language of the web such as JavaScript. And in our next day program, we will learn about Dr. Parismita Sharma, CSS, about CSS. So PAR as a web programming language, due to its text manipulation capabilities and rapid development cycle. It basically web to handle encrypted web data, including e-commerce transactions, and CSS, cascading style sheets, are the main coding files web to lay out a website and its design. So in the first session, participants will able to learn about number 1, JavaScript basic concepts. Number 2, controlling JavaScript executions. Number 3, miscellaneous features of your JavaScripts. And number 4, JavaScripts and form processing, etc. And this will learn we all learn from our resource person, Dr. Ujjal Saikia. Is from Dibrugarh University. So in the second session, in the second day, 2/7/22, our resource person will be Parismita Sharma, And from her, all the participants will learn about the number one, how to design web pages and create CSS classes from a beginner's level to a more intermediate level. Number two, from those of you who are new to CSS and HTML, participants will learn step by steps about how to create a CSS file and include it in your HTML code. Even if you use a cloud server for your hosting. Number three, how to position your elements, layout, layout of elements related to the documents and style your HTML using predefined CSS values. And in the last and the final day, we will learn very valuable things about Perl and CGI from Dr. Mirzanul Rahman. He is from Guwahati University. So we will learn on that day from him, number one, what is Perl language and its use in web technology. Number two, simple Perl operations. So this is altogether 3 days workshop program. Without the initiatives taken by MDK College HOD, Rimpi Sharma, it would not be possible for us to organize these very important and good seminars. And I hope all the participants will learn so many valuable items and valuable things from these three resource persons. Now I am handing over to Rimpi Sharma. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I believe the energy of our student participants have been raised by your valuable words. Now I request uh, Dr. Ujjal Saikia sir to take over the session from here. Hello, sir. Are you there?
Yes. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Uh,
Yes.
Sir, yes, sir. I can hear you. Sir,
Yes.
you can take the sessions from here.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank all the organizers for giving me the opportunity to discuss about JavaScript. So I will discuss all these things in my lecture. Uh, the syllabus which is given to me, actually it is a very big syllabus, but I will try to include all the things uh, if possible today. It actually, when I see the syllabus, I observe that lots of things are included which may actually need 6-7 days to complete all the courses. So it will not be feasible for on in one day. So if students have any confusion understanding, because I have to go in quick, so for that purpose I will request all the students for sending me some queries later, but I will try to include all the things in the session. So thank you all the organizers. Now I am going to present my presentation on JavaScript for all the students, and I hope that student will be benefited from my lecture. Thank you. So this is the proficiency class on JavaScript. So basically the contents that I have included in my presentation is about JavaScript with its introduction, background, and then I will go directly to the practical examples, because I think if I show the step-by-step methods practically, then it will be very much fruitful for them. But before going to the practical session, so first of all, I would like to discuss about the background and basics of JavaScript. So the first question comes to our mind: what is JavaScript? Actually, JavaScript is a scripting or programming language that allows us to implement interactive features on web pages. So there are lots of programming languages to create web pages nowadays, but the basic thing you have to know to create a simple web page is the concept of HTML, that is known as hypertext markup language. So by using JavaScript, instead of displaying static information, different tasks can be implemented in the HTML document. That means we will use JavaScript inside the HTML document to create dynamic web pages. So what a JavaScript can do? By using JavaScript, what we can do, some examples are given like we can display date and time in a web. So suppose we want to show the current date and time dynamically in a web page, then we can use a JavaScript code inside the HTML page, HTML codes, or by writing some external codes and connecting the HTML codes to the external JavaScript, we can do this type of thing. Timely content updates in the HTML or web applications or web pages. We want to use some timely content update or display some timely content update. Then we can use we have to use JavaScript. Doing calculations. Suppose we want to do some calculations in a web page. Suppose we want to check some calculation. Suppose we want to create a payroll application for such type of things. Suppose we want to check the number, whether a number is even or odd in a web application. Then directly using HTML, we will not be able to perform this thing in HTML. So for another example is doing validation. Suppose we are going to validate whether a entered email is valid or not, whether a entered credit card number is valid or not. So that will be known as doing validation. Similarly, interactive maps can be included. 2D and 3D graphics, etc. can be 2D and 3D graphics can be implemented in a web. But one thing we have to, again, as one of the organizers has already mentioned, that these are all things are interconnected, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Actually, JavaScript can be considered as the third layer of the web technologies, and two of them is HTML and CSS. So HTML is basically used to create static web pages, and CSS can be used for giving styles or apply styles to a web page. But suppose apart from that, we need to perform this above type of things, then we have to use JavaScript. So that is the usefulness of JavaScript or basic of JavaScript. So here HTML is the markup language we use to create web pages or web applications. Using HTML, we can define paragraphs, headers, and data tables, as well as embed pictures and videos into web pages. Using CSS, as it is a language of style rules, we can apply style to a HTML document in many ways, such as by choosing background colors, font, and other styles that can be used to give styles, CSS. But JavaScript is a programming language that allows us to do just about everything, including creating dynamically updated content and managing multimedia. So how JavaScript can be used, that I will discuss in the next part. So applications of JavaScript programming, where we can use JavaScript programming. Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir, it is very much clear.
Okay. Thank you. So, where we can apply JavaScript? JavaScript is one of the most widely used programming languages. It has its presence in almost every area of software development. First of all, client-side validation. So, actually, scripting languages are divided into two types: client-side scripting and server-side scripting. And JavaScript, VBScript, etc. are considered as client-side scripting. And programming languages like PHP, ASP.NET, JSP, etc. are known as server-side scripting. So basically, JavaScript can be used as client-side scripting, but nowadays some modern versions of JavaScript can also be used to work with servers. So, but today what we will discuss, we will the implementation of JavaScript as a client-side program. We will discuss about that today, how JavaScript can be used along with HTML as a scripting language. So after that, manipulating HTML pages. This is one of the application of JavaScript. That means JavaScript helps in manipulating HTML page on the fly. This helps in adding and deleting any HTML tag very easily using JavaScript and modify HTML to change its look and feel based on different devices and requirements. That we can do. That means HTML pages can be manipulated. User notifications. We can use JavaScript to raise dynamic pop-ups on the web pages to give different types of notifications to our website visitors. Similarly, backend data loading. JavaScript provides Ajax library. Ajax is one concept known as asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So this is JavaScript works together with XML technologies to fetch data without directly going to the server. So that is one use of JavaScript. So we will not discuss Ajax today, but again, it is one of the most important technologies to for back-end data loading. So presentations is one of the other applications of JavaScript. JavaScript also provides the facility of creating presentations, which gives websites look and feel. So I will show one example. Suppose how to roll over images. So we can create slides using JavaScript. That means we can show different images like slideshow using JavaScript. So I have included one practical on this type of example. Like when we click on a image, it will go. It will give another image by just rolling over of mouse. So that I will show in my presentation. So this is application of JavaScript. These are some applications, and there are many more applications of JavaScript. So these are some mentioning as a example. So first of all, because we are going to learn JavaScript, so as somebody may not familiar with HTML also, that is why I have given the basic structure of HTML page also here, because we will use JavaScript. As you can see, these codes, in these codes there is no JavaScript integrated or embedded, but this is a HTML code. So inside this we have to use JavaScript. So JavaScript can be used by using a tag known as script tag. Script tag should be used along with the HTML tags. So there are rules for using script tags that I will show. So HTML head, title, these are HTML elements or tags. So these tags combinedly make a basic web page. So may I know from any students, is it possible whether they have basic knowledge of HTML or not? Then I can directly skip the HTML things. So can any student? I think lots of students has basic idea of HTML. So this code generally written in any text editor, like someone is trying to speak. Okay, this text generally written in any text editor like Notepad, Notepad++, Text Edit, and there are lots of other platforms like Dreamweaver, like Visual Web Developer, where we can directly create HTML page. But the basic way of learning HTML or JavaScript is to use the Notepad. So use of Notepad will be required to learn the basic of HTML and JavaScript. So this thing we will write in Notepad. So using the script tag, how we will use the script tag. So JavaScript can be implemented using JavaScript statements that are placed within script tag, this script tag. Okay, the script tag takes two important attributes. There are two important attributes of script tag. One is language, where we have to define the language, which language will be used, or similarly, type of the script is also have to be declared along with the script tag. So language and type, these are attribute of script tag. So generally, this is suppose body. Body is a tag, and suppose we have bg color for which is used for background color is a attribute. So script is a tag, and along with script we have to use the language attribute, which will specify the language that we are going to use in the HTML. And similarly, type is used. Then in type attribute we generally write type equal to text oblique JavaScript. That means it is a text-based content, and the text are written in JavaScript format. So that is declared along with the script tag. So use of script tag. The script tag is used to embed a client-side script. So client-side scripting, as I have already told that we will discuss the JavaScript here as a client-side scripting language. The script element either contains scripting statements. So after the script elements, there will be some statements. So that I will discuss in the next page. Or it points to an external script file through src attribute. This is important. That means we can use JavaScript in the HTML file itself, or we can place the JavaScript statements in a separate file, and that file will be connected to the HTML page by using some connection line. So how to do that? That we will discuss. That means we may use JavaScript internally or externally. So in case of internal JavaScript, we will line the JavaScript codes along with the HTML codes, and in case of external JavaScript, we will write the JavaScript code in a separate file. That I will show how to write those things. So this is an example of internal JavaScript program. How to write an internal HTML5 declaration? We should write doc type HTML. Even if you don't write, the script will work. So don't confuse with that. In some example, I may not write doc type HTML, but in some example, you will get that line. So don't confuse about that thing. So here you can see this is the HTML tag, this is the body tag, this is a formatting tag, header tag h2, in where we will use the script tag like this. So when we start the script tag, we will write script, then we write the language attribute. Language equal to JavaScript. We will declare here, and we will put a space, then we will write the type attribute, and we will write equal, then we will declare like this, text oblique JavaScript. Then the statement will come after the script text. And this is the basic program. This is the hello world program, you can see. So after writing this in this format, document.write is like a printf statement of C program. So it is a print statement for JavaScript. Document write, then document.write, then there are other functions like alert we can use, that I will show in practical. So then we close the script tag, and about this symbol before the document, I will tell you later about this symbol in the next is why I am using this comment line. Okay, before the document.write, these are comment lines. Why I am writing this, I will show you in the next. And after writing this, you will save this as a .htm or .html document. After writing this in a notepad file or in any text editor, you have to save it as a .html file. Look, you are using JavaScript, but you have to save it as a HTML file, because JavaScript will work along with HTML. Okay, so you have to save it as a HTML file, and while running on the browser, it will show you the output statement as hello world. This is the basic structure of a internal JavaScript program. This is a internal JavaScript. So there are external JavaScript program also. So how to write external JavaScript? So for writing external JavaScript, same thing, we start doc type HTML, then this, then script type, and we have included the SRC attribute. As I have told in my first slide, previous slide, like this here, SRC attribute about this attribute is implemented here. SRC equal to test.js. So what does it mean? That means there is a JavaScript file. So what is the extension of a JavaScript file? That is .js. So we have to create a separate JavaScript file in a notepad or in text in any other text editor, and in any other visual developer program you can do it, but that have to be a .js extension. .js means it is a JavaScript extension. So here we will use JavaScript along with HTML. Similarly, the HTML file will have .html extension, JavaScript file will have .js extension. A CSS file will have .css extension. So extension, how to save the extension, saving a particular extension, I will show you while doing a practical. Okay, so remember this one is a .html file. This code is again a .html file, and we have to write JavaScript in a external JS file, .js file, and we have to name the external JS file as test.js. And I ask the students to keep the JS file in the same folder where the HTML file will be put. Otherwise, you have to write the complete path where the test.js is there. So you can write a path also, but it will be better to use the JS file in the same folder where you are going to create the HTML. So that will be easier for you. Then test.js file and HTML file will be in the same folder. Okay, so that is how you can connect the HTML file to a JavaScript, external JavaScript. Previous was the internal, and this was external. So rule to use script tag, how to use script tag. So there is a flexibility given to include JavaScript code anywhere in an HTML document. So you are given flexibility. মানে আমি আমাৰ ইচ্ছা অনুযায়ী আমি আমাৰ স্ক্ৰিপ্ট ফাইলটো এড কৰিব পাৰো হেড সেকশনৰ ভিতৰতো কৰিব পাৰো বডি সেকশনৰ ভিতৰতো আমি কৰিব পাৰো আমি যিকোনো এটা সেকশনৰ আমি কৰিব পাৰো হেতু ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটি দিয়া আছে ওকে so generally external while using an external JavaScript file you are advised to include in head attribute. If we are writing in an internal file, then you can use it anywhere and you can use the script tag inside body tag also. Okay, but while using in an external file, you are advised to keep the script file in the head section because the head section will come in the first. While creating the HTML, like in the first section, you will see where it is connected, to which JS file it is connected. So, however, this is flexible. So, this is rule to use script tag. So, similarly, we can declare some variable like this in JavaScript, where we have written script language, JavaScript type is defined, variable 1, 10, variable 2, value is given 20, then we are closing the script tag. So remember why I am using the first, why I am showing this variable declaration. If you put this value in separate line, the semicolon is not mandatory. But if you want to write in the same line, then there must be a semicolon. So, but while writing any programming languages and declaring some values to a variable, so semicolon should be given. Semicolon is advised. Okay. Similarly, some data types, about some data types I want to discuss because in the example I will use some data types. So for that purposes, I want to mention some data types which you can use while using JavaScript. So one of the most fundamental characteristics of a programming language is the set of data types it supports. These are the type of values that can be represented and manipulated in a programming language. JavaScript allows us to work with these primitive data types like numbers. Example is integers and floating points, strings like a text. This is a text string, you can see. Boolean data types is used like true or false. And apart from that, JavaScript also defines two trivial data types, null and undefined, each of which defines only a single value. In addition to these primitive data types, JavaScript supports a composite data type known as object, and how to write comments in JavaScript. So JavaScript supports both C style and C++ style comments. So if you have any previous idea of C programming or C++ programming, then if you have experience of writing comment in programming language, then along with JavaScript also you can write some comments. Why we write comments? Because we write comments to denote or to show what actually going on inside the codes. So for that purpose, writing comments before the actual code is encouraged. So any text between this double slash you can see at the end of a line is treated as a comment and is ignored by JavaScript. তুমি যদি তোমালোকে যদি এটো সিম্বল দিয়া কোনোবা এটা লাইনৰ পিছত এটো দি আৰম্ভ কৰিয়া তাৰ পিছত যিখিনি লিখিবা এখিনি JavaScriptে তোমাৰ as a comment হিচাপে ট্ৰিট কৰিব. That will be treated as a comment. any text between the characters, this you can see, and this ইয়াৰ ভিতৰত যদি তুমি কিবা লিখিছা is treated as a comment, and this may span multiple lines. So that means if you want to write multiple comments, then you can include them inside this. And JavaScript also recognizes the HTML comment opening sequence like this. HTML comments opening sequence like this, and JavaScript treat this as a single line comment, just as it does with this. This one is a single line comment and this is a multiple line comment. Okay, the HTML comment closing sequence, this is not recognized by JavaScript. So HTML comments closing sequence is this one. You can this dash and this angular bracket. This is not recognized by JavaScript. That is why it should be written as this one. So before closing this, you have to write these two. Otherwise, it is not recognizable by JavaScript. So while writing, you have to, while writing comments, you have to remember all these things while writing the JavaScript. Similarly, there are some JavaScript functions. So how functions can be added along with JavaScript? So while doing the practical problems, we will be learning about some function. So that is why it will be relevant to give you an idea about the function. Before we use a function, we need to define it. The most common way to define a function in JavaScript is by using the function keyword. So function can be used as a keyword in a JavaScript, followed by unique function name. So function name you have to define like this, which is a unique function name, and a list of parameters that may be empty, and a statement block surrounded by curly braces. So here you can see. So only these scripts will not work. You have to put them inside HTML text. So script, again HTML text, script type is defined. Then this is the comment function say hello. So this is the name of the function, and this is the keyword, and this is the bracket where the statement is written. So it is a alert function. That means when you will run this program, so you will be given an alert by the web browser, or you will be given a message by the web browser like this: alert, hello there. Okay, so that you have to include in the HTML page. That I will show you with example how to execute this thing. Similarly, concept of event is also required. So what is event? JavaScript interaction with HTML is handled through events that occur when the user or browser manipulates a page. So when we want to do some manipulation in a web page, suppose we want to click in a web page and change the image or go to the next image, so that can be done. So that clicking event, that will be a clicking event. When the, or a loading event can be created. When the page loads, it is called an event. Okay, when a page loads, it's called an event. When the user clicks a button, that click to is an event. Suppose আমি কিবা এটা বাটনত ক্লিক কৰিছো, সেইটোকো তুমি ইভেন্ট বুলি কয়. Suppose we are choosing values from a combo box, and it is while choosing the values from a combo box, something is happening or some change is going on, then that is also an event. Okay, other examples includes like pressing any key closing a window, resizing a window, etc. are also considered as event. So we will learn how to work with function and event practically in some example in JavaScript. This example is given again here, for example, on-click event type. This is the most frequently used event type which occurs when a user clicks the left button of his mouse or left click. So you can put your validation, warning, etc. in this event type. Suppose you are entering an email and we want to check whether it is valid or not. So that event can be done by the clickable button. So that is example of event. So important point, one more important point to mention, JavaScript is a case sensitive language. This means the language keywords, variables, functions names, and any other identifier must always be tied with a consistent capitalization of letter. That means if it is capital in earlier, then that the same value is used later. If you forgot to write it in capital, then it may not work. For example, so identifier, suppose time and capital time, you can see this will convey different meanings in JavaScript. So basically JavaScript is a case sensitive language. So you try to write JavaScript thinking about this thing that this is a case sensitive language. So in some case, suppose you are doing JavaScript, so it may not work in some situation because it is browser dependent. Because whatever you will learn in whatever you will do or whatever you will program in JavaScript, actually it will run in a browser. So browser may be different from person to person. So you have to enable JavaScript in the browsers to work. Generally it is enabled. Generally these things I have included. Generally JavaScripts are enabled by default in a web browser. Sorry. But in some situations JavaScript may be disabled. So for that purpose you may have to enable the JavaScript. So there are some settings which you can do to enable JavaScript setting in a browser like Chrome, or in Opera it may be different. So this is the steps. Okay, this is the steps which you can follow to enable JavaScript in your Chrome browser. But in some, if it is updated or in some modern version of Chrome, it may not be as exactly same this step. So then you may have to find these things under the privacy section or like this. These things you have to check in your browser. Actually, all this will come from the settings of your browser. তোমালোকৰ setting browser settings পৰা এখিনি কেতিয়াবা কৰি ল'ব লগিয়া হ'ব পাৰে, enable disable তুমি তোমালোকে কৰি ল'ব পাৰি. So that can be done. So finally I am concluding all my theoretical things, because it will there are lots of things in JavaScript theory, but it will not be possible. So that is why I have included some contents that I want to show in my slide also. So I have included these things in my today's discussion, and I will show you all of these as much as possible. Like I will show how to create the basic HTML page, how to basic JavaScript file along with HTML page, how to create external JavaScript, how to use loops in JavaScript. Suppose we know what is while loop, what is for loop in C programming or other programming language. That loops can be used in JavaScript also. That I will discuss. Then rollover of image, that is included. Alert is included. Similarly, email validation I have included, how to validate an email. Then radio button, how to work with radio button. Suppose we want to select some size of charts. Suppose one is medium, one is XL, one is small. So that can be given in a radio button. So while learning JavaScript, actually it is considered that all of you have basic knowledge of HTML. If you know how to create input type text, input type button, etc., then only you will be able to use JavaScript, because all these things will be related. If you don't know basics of JavaScript, it may be difficult for you to understand JavaScript. So I have considered that these things are known to you. If it is not previously known to you, then you have to study the basics of HTML. And in this regard also I can help you, as I have some YouTube channel about basics of HTML, where you can be able to learn about how to create HTML pages. That I will give you as a link later after the practical examples. And I will share all the notes, that means the slides and all these files, because these are files, all these files in a zip format. Then you have to practice it at home, or if possible, if somebody is opening in a computer, you can try this, the basics program, this first 3-4 program, you can try this along with me. Otherwise, after that, like creating payroll or creating validating email, etc., will not be, you will not be able to do in just 2, 3, 4 minutes, because there are lots of long codes implemented here that you have to check, and you have to actually implement it later after I have so I will be showing the practical example. So these are some references that I have taken. So these are books, and actually you can go to this website, tutorialspoint.com, for JavaScript. This website you can visit, and w3schools.com also one of the most popular website. But I personally find this website, tutorialspoint.com, where you there are lots of examples how JavaScript files can be created along with HTML files that will be needed as a web developer. As a web developer, you can visit this page. So I will formally thank you for these slides. Then I will conclude this presentation, and I will directly show how to create HTML and JavaScript files. So I want to take a 5 minutes break. So if any student want to ask any question, and if any student have any confusion, then they can ask me. Suppose I want to show the time in a JavaScript file. So how to show this? So I will open the code. Here you can see. We are using some functions. Up to this button on click is the event, and this is the function. And what we will do, we will get the date and time from a button. So this is a HTML page, and script is again declared here. And what my function is declared variable b new date, new date means it actually it takes the system date, and that date will be fetched to the variable d dot get date. That date will be fetched to the variable d, and document dot write d. That means this variable will be displayed in the web page as a current date and time. So this value actually gives you the current date and time. Okay, so I am saving it as time.html. Already it has been saved. So if you run this, here this is a button, get the date and time. Click to get the current date and time, and here we have given the program, we have embedded the program. So if we click on this, get the date and time, then it is showing Friday, July. This the current date is showing in our web page. So that is done by using the JavaScript program. Just a minute. So next important thing is user input. So how to input value from user? So that is why the use of user input. That means we will give some value from our keyboard or from the mouse directly. So for that purposes, I am using these codes in HTML, and I am writing the other codes in test2.js file for using user input. So test2.js file is connected to this HTML, and test2.js file you can open with Notepad. So here one variable name equal to prompt. So prompt is a way in web browser. So there will be a prompt text box like prompt there where you have to put your value. That means we can directly put the value in the prompt, and after your input, suppose the variable name is name, so the browser will display the message as hello, and the name that you will enter will be displayed as hello, that particular name. So for that purpose, this is a JavaScript code, and we save it as test2.js file. Okay, so remember this is JS file, and this is user input. So this is I will run this. So what is your name? This is the prompt. So I am prompted to enter my name here. Okay, so I have entered my name here as Ujjal Saikia. User hello Ujjal Saikia. that value has been taken as an input in the prompt, okay, and has displayed as an output in the web browser. So if I suppose put another name, suppose song, so you can see this is hello zone. So this prompt can be used effectively when you want to do some calculations, do some checking. So this can be used. This is user input. Suppose this is user input check. I am showing another example. This one. So I am using external JS file for this prompt function in test3.js. You can see test3.js. I am opening with Notepad. Here variable a is taken as a variable, and in the prompt you will be asked to enter a value. So if that value is greater than 10, if we are using branching, if a is greater than 10, then document.write the number entered is larger than 10, else document.write the number entered is smaller than 10. So that can also be done in a prompt. So very simple code, you can see. So now I run this user input check, enter a value. Suppose I am writing 45. You can see the number entered is larger than 10. Very interesting. When I am refreshing it and I am writing a number 9, suppose. Now it is showing the number entered is smaller than 10. So that can be used. I hope you understand how to give user input in prompt. Apart from that user input in prompt, you will be able to do calculations from a text box also. That I will show in the payroll calculator here. So another example, suppose even odd check. Here you can see I am writing the JavaScript along with the HTML document, not in separate file. So here the program is like this. This is a variable, prompt enter a value. If a percentage, that means if a is divided by 2 and remainder is 0, then it is a even number, else it is a odd number. That can also be done. So let me show you. Suppose 45, the number is odd. Suppose 20, the number is even. So these basic calculations you will be able to do very effectively using JavaScript code. Now I will go to the how to use loops like while loop, for loop, etc. In HTML. In HTML, in JavaScript along with HTML. The structure of while loop is like this. So we have prepared the HTML file and put the JS file in source while.js. Okay, these files I will give to the students. So I will share it with you, and if you click on this, it will be running. সব তোমালোকৰ run হয়ে যাব। তাৰ কাৰণে মই চিন্তা কৰিব নালাগে, সব কৰি থোৱা আছে। ইয়াত এতিয়া মই নোটপ্যাডত দেখাইছো while টো কেনেকৈ লিখা হৈছে। So this is similar structure like আমি যেনেকৈ C লিখিছিলো প্ৰায় একেই। So ইয়াতে variable I semicolon and initialize the value. This is the first value. While I less than 5, that means up to 5, from I is equal to I plus 1, that means the initial value will be 1. Then it will be checked again. If it is less than 5, then the loop will work. Then it will be 2. Then up to it is less than 5, it will work, and you will get the value as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we write document.write I plus. So this is the value which you will get as a output. Okay. So let me show you this program. Open it. The numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is, so there are use of loop. There are use of loops in JavaScript in your syllabus also. It is given. So you can use the basic while loops and for loops. Now I will show you how to use the for loop in the next example. This is for. Open with Notepad, write this code and write the JavaScript file inside this for JS file. Okay. So we have declared the variable as num, that is number, and it will start from 0 to 10. Okay. The first count will be 0, then it will be 1, then similarly up to 10 it will go. So this for structure, I will not be very much explaining these things because more things to explain after this. So this is the structure of for loop. So you will practice it, and these are connected. If you run this in this HTML page, you can see example of for loop. This is the starting loop, current count 0 up to this 9. So you can see 10 values. Okay, 10 values are starting from, since it is starting from 0, so it is going up to 9. So similarly, using for loop, you can perform factorial of number. Open it. I am using this. Suppose we are calculating factorial value of 5. As we know, factorial 5 is 120. Thus the same programming structure, programming logic is same, because we will not be discussing all the logics here. So I have written this, and suppose I am opening this, factorial of 5 is 120. So this is correct. Similarly, factorial of user input. Suppose I am opening this factorial, you can see factorial of number. Here we will be prompted to enter it, and rest of the program is same. That means in the previous example it is factorial of 5, and now it is dynamic. So for that purpose, while running, we will be prompted to enter a value, suppose 6. Then factorial of 6 is 720. You can see factorial of 5. You can see this is 120. 4, suppose. So this is dynamically changing along with the user input. So this is how you can use the loops in JavaScript. Now, after this loop, I will show you how to create a simple payroll using JavaScript in this area. Okay, So for that purpose, I am opening it with, I am first showing you the structure. This is, suppose you entered the net salary, you entered the allowance percentage, and you enter the deduction. You want to enter the deduction in 3 text boxes, not in prompt. In prompt also you can do, but here it is not in prompt. Okay, here it is in text boxes. So you have to know how to create text boxes in HTML. So I think all of you know how to create text box in HTML. Let me go to the payroll page. This is, suppose I am entering here, suppose 25,000 is my salary. Allowance is suppose 20%, and deduction is suppose 1,000. So what should be the gross? So 25,000 and 20% of 25,000 minus 1,000. Okay, so that will be the gross. So if I calculate this, I can see the gross pay is 29,000. So how I have done this? So for that purpose, I have used JavaScript here using some technique. So I will show the codes now. Suppose I am changing this dynamically, it will be 59,000 gross pay. So all these codes you have to remember for creating this simple payroll system. Actually, in HTML we have taken some lines like enter and these are HTML codes. Okay, these things are HTML codes, and this is the JavaScript codes. That means this, you remember this, we have to write for creating the HTML page. Input type calculate gross and get value from the text boxes. How we will get this value from the text boxes? So we are initializing some variable x, then it's taking the value from var x. That means meaning is like this: var x is taking the value of this text box value, var x, var y, and var z. I have already declared here, and these values are taken from those text boxes. Then after this, I have performed the calculation. So this is done. Here comment is given as calculation. They add properly not to concatenate. In some cases, values are concatenated in JavaScript. If we don't give the type, so console.log this one is used to get the value from that x variable, and that result value is actually the x value which is stored in text box 1 plus x star y by 100. That means we multiply x and y. That means suppose 25,000, then 100, it is 20%. That is why we have to divide it by 100. So this is n minus z. That means we have to deduct the deduction. When finally the output result is obtained along with the payroll system. So that is the code behind where we have written the JavaScript codes. So that means this value, this value, this value into this value plus this value into this divided by 100 minus deduction. That code has been implemented here. And this is simple. So you can see lots of other payroll methods, and there are lots of other There may be lots of other columns. So I am showing only 3 columns: net salary, allowance, and deduction. So there may be some other. So but the process will be same. So you have to use those formula in the final formula. So that then you will get the total gross pay. So after that, I will come to this one, rollover. This you will find interesting. Rollover, suppose first of all I am showing you with example. Here you can see this one. Whenever the cursor is away from this, you can see whenever the cursor is away from this image, the automatically there is a change in the image. Okay. So while refreshing, it is the koala image, and whenever I put the cursor here, so it is the what? Desert image. So this is known as rollover. So how to do rollover in JavaScript? So that I will show you with the codes. So this is the practical implementation. Here also there will be lots of code. So but I will tell you very briefly how to do this. Actually, one thing you remember, to encourage all the participants, I want to say that in JavaScript, HTML, CSS are can be used freely, and you can take help from lots of other developers. Lots of codes are freely given, lots of templates are already there, but you have to implement them. So there is no constraint for using that. Okay, তোমালোকে C program এটা কৰিছা, তোমালোকে বহুতখিনি মনত ৰাখি আহিবলগীয়া হৈছে পৰীক্ষাত, একদম ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰটো এনেকুৱা হ'ব লাগিব। জাভাস্ক্ৰিপ্টৰ কাৰণে তোমাৰ এটা ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটি আছে, কাৰণ তুমি প্ৰজেক্টত ইউজ কৰিবা। You will be using it in a web page, maybe factorial programs, or suppose checking event or using for payroll calculation, etc. You may have to remember the code, but while doing this type of project, you need not to remember all these things. You can smartly use the programs that is available in the web page, because you need the output only. Okay, তোমালোকক মানে আউটপুটটো লাগে, গতিকে তোমালোকে হেল্প ল'ব পাৰিবা। আৰু ৱেব টেকনলজিছটোৱে হৈছে ৱেব মানে সেইটো তোমাৰ ৱেবত থাকিব, গতিকে ইউ আৰ ফ্ৰী টু টেক হেল্প। তুমি হেল্প ল'ব লাগিব। This suppose all these codes, frankly speaking, if I practice regularly, then it may be reminded. Otherwise, I may also forget this thing. But if you have idea about this, how to work, then you can implement this in another example. So here, almost same, everything is almost same. These are HTML tag. So this you have to just remember function mouse rollover. The function name is mouse rollover, and here two images are used, desert and koala. Okay, when rollover, যেতিয়া আমি আনিম মাউসটো, ঠিক আছে, তেতিয়া ডেজার্ট হ'ব ইমেজটো। যেতিয়া মই ইমেজটোৰ পৰা লৈ যাম মাউস আউট, তেতিয়া মোৰ ইমেজটো হ'ব কোয়ালা ডট। সেই প্ৰগ্ৰামটোকে ইয়াত লিখা হৈছে myimage.src koala.jpg। এটা koala.jpg মই ইয়াতে সেভ কৰি ৰাখিছো, koala desert মই ইয়াতে ৰাখিছো, একেটা ফোল্ডাৰতে মোৰ আছে। these are here, Okay, and some codes are implemented here along with the image source. This is the HTML image attribute, and these things are included in the HTML. This is a internal JavaScript file. So after successful writing of this, when you will open it in Google Chrome, then this will happen. This is known as rollover. Okay, are you understanding?
Hello,
Hello.
sir. Can you show the codes again, sir?
Actually, I will give you the codes later. Okay, then you will be understanding it. Let me summarize all the programs quickly. Then I will show all these codes once again. So let me go to the this one, email validation. This is again lots of code there. I want to just, you have to remember these things for validating email. Suppose you are building a web page where you have to input a email in a text box. So for that purposes, you have to write all these codes. Okay, so you are using a function, email function. Basically, it will check whether we have given @ or not. Okay, আমি @ দিছো নে নাই চেক কৰে। এটা ফাংশনৰ ভ্যালুটো যদি নেগেটিভ হয় তেন্তে হলে মানে মিনিংটো এনেকুৱা হৈছে যে কি @ টো তাত প্ৰেজেন্ট নাই বুলি ধৰি। সিমিলাৰলি ইয়াতে আৰু এটা লৈছে ইমেইল লেংথ -4, এইটো চাইছে ইকুৱেল টু ডট কোড। যদি আমি ইমেইলৰ লেংথটো বা লাষ্টৰ ফালৰ 4টা এইখিনি ডিলিট মানে অতৰাই দিও মাইনাস কৰাৰ পিছত, এক্স্যাক্টলি ডট ইকুৱেল টু যদি ডট হয়, সাপোজ আই এম ৰাইটিং Ujjal Saikia @gmail.com, or কেতিয়াবা তিনিটাও হ'ব পাৰে, সেইকাৰণে এন দিছে, ডট ইনো কেতিয়াবা হ'ব পাৰে, ইকুৱেল টু ডট। তো এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ এটা কনসেপ্ট লগাইছে। এই কনসেপ্টটো তোমালোকে অকমান নিজে চাব লাগিব। লগতে এই কোডিংস খিনিয়ে কি কৰিব তোমাক, you can be able to use anywhere in your, ইয়াত এই কোডিং খিনি তোমাৰ সকলোৰে কাৰণে একে হ'ব। তুমি এইখিনি লৈ তুমি যদি ইমপ্লিমেন্ট কৰা তোমাৰ ওয়েব পেজতো, তোমাৰ সেই ইমেইল ভেলিডেশনটো কাম কৰি যাব। এতিয়া মই দেখাইছো। john@gmail.com, এটা সাবমিট হৈ গল। সাপোজ মই অকল উজ্জ্বল বুলি দিছো, ইনভ্যালিড ইমেইল এড্ৰেছ বুলি ওলাব। সেই ইমেইল ভেলিডেশন বা এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কামৰ বাবেও আমি জাভাস্ক্ৰিপ্টটো ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিব পাৰিম। So this is one example of JavaScript where you will be able to use JavaScript along with the HTML. So one more. This is a real-time clock. Here you can see the clock is showing in real time. The real-time clock in your syllabus also these things are given. That is why I have put it in my discussion, how to use the real-time clock in a web page. I have shown you in the first example how to create date and time, but that was not like this. Here it is like real time. Tomar jitu time hoi ase hetu hi eneke dekhai goi ase real time clock hisabe. Yar code khidio basic idea to moi akhon toi disu. New date to সদায় ইউজ কৰে ডেটৰ কাৰণে, এটো সদায় মনত ৰাখিবা লেট ডেট ইকুৱেল টু নিউ ডেট, এটো ইউজ কৰিছে। তাৰ পাছত তাৰ ঘণ্টাটো এইচ হিচাপে লৈছে, মিনিটছটো লৈছে, তাৰ পৰা সেকেন্ডটো লৈছে। আৰু ফাৰ্ষ্টতে তাক এএম হিচাপে সেশনটো কনসিডাৰ কৰি লৈছে। ঠিক আছে, যদিহে প্ৰথমতে 0 হয় তাক তোমাৰ এইচটো 12ৰ পৰা 12ৰ পৰা আৰম্ভ কৰিছে। And if h is greater than 12, then suppose 13 হৈ গ'ল। ওকে, 13 তাৰমানে এটা বাজিছে, এটা বজাৰ কাৰণে কি হৈছে 13 minus 12 কৰি দিব, গতিকে 13ৰ পৰা 12টো মাইনাস হৈ 1 হৈ যাব আৰু সেশনটো পিএম হৈ গুচি যাব। তো তেনেকুৱা এটা কনসেপ্ট লগাইছে। আৰু লগাইছে যদি এইচটো 10তকৈ সৰু হয়, ঠিক আছে, এতিয়া 10তকৈ সৰু 6টা বাজি আছে, সাপোজ 6টা বাজিলে আগত 0 এটা আহি থাকিব লাগে, 06। তো সেইটোৰ কাৰণে এনেকুৱা এটা কনসেপ্ট লগাইছে, মানে 06 বুলি ওলাব। সেকেন্ডৰ কাৰণেও একে, মিনিটৰ কাৰণেও একে। যদি মিনিটটো 10তকৈ সৰু হৈছে 05 মিনিট হিচাপে দেখাব, তাৰ কাৰণে এনেকুৱা এটা কোড লগাইছে। আৰু ফাইনেলি তোমাৰ এইচ এম আৰু সেকেন্ডছ খিনি ওলাইছে, আৰু সেশনটো ইয়াত এএম বা পিএম হিচাপে তোমাৰ শ্ব' কৰিব। এইটো ৰিয়েল টাইম ক্লকৰ কাৰণে তোমালোকে এইটো চাব পাৰা। এই গোটেই কোডখিনি মই আজি তোমালোকৰ মেডামক শ্বেয়াৰ কৰি দিম, গতিকে তোমালোকে ৰিয়েল টাইম ক্লকৰ কাৰণেও এইটো চাব পাৰিবা। মই আকৌ এবাৰ দেখাই দিছো। This is a real time clock where the current time is shown as a real time clock. Finally, actually I have come to the last program of my discussion. So that is about radio button. So here we have used some radio button. Concept is like this. First of all I am opening this radio. Select your size. Suppose in a online shopping website, okay, you want to select the size which you have selected. You have to put it into a, or you have to show it for the next page or in the same page. So that can be selected like this. Okay, so suppose I have selected Excel and I have clicked on show selected value, then it is given as you selected Excel. Suppose I am selecting M as my selected value and you have selected M. So these things can be done for selecting the value from a radio button. Similar things can be done in checkbox button also, so that you have to check from your side. So this is the code. I just want to show you. This is general HTML code. We have used input type. Here input type we have used. Okay. Then finally script is here. So the logic behind this is that the button is taken with the ID button. So this function has detected which portion of which particular radio button is selected, and that value is taken, and that value is displayed as the output of the program in the web page. So that means there is a collection of HTML, there is a collection of JavaScript logic. So logic you have to understand from your side. At implementation part, I have shown you how to implement, where to put it. So I will now give all the codes to all of you, and you will try to understand. And if you have any query, you can take my mail also regarding this. Then I will personally try to answer all of you regarding all these programs. If you have any query, you can send a message to me. But first of all, you have to try it from your side. Okay, at home you have to try it from your side. There are lots of other platforms like this. Suppose visual web developer. You need not to visual web developer, where you can go to file, create new websites. And remember, in such platform, you need not to write all the codes. You can just click here. You can add lots of document, add new items like this. Here you can see HTML page. You can add. Here you can see JavaScript file like this is JavaScript file. You can use CSS also here. Okay, so I have already put a HTML page here. This is HTML page and this is a JavaScript file. Here these codes will be automatically created. You need not to write all these things. তোমালোকে কোড বিলাক লিখিব নালাগে এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ প্লেটফৰ্ম মই এইটো প্লেটফৰ্মৰ কথা আগতে ডিসকাস কৰা নাই কাৰণ we have to know the basics. So in such platform তুমি এই গোটেই কোড বিলাক লিখি থাকিব না জাস্ট এখন তোমাৰ HTML পেজ এটো হৈছে JavaScript পেজ ইয়াতে তুমি লিখিলে হ'ল ইয়াত তুমি document.write hello world এটো JavaScript ফাইলত লিখিলা এটো HTML পেজ আছে এই HTML পেজত তুমি জাস্ট এই লাইনটোহে লিখিছা ইয়াত কানেক্ট কৰা হৈছে script type text oblique javascript source javascript.js so এটো যদি আমি রান কৰিব বিচাৰো তেতিয়া আমি ইয়াৰ পৰা ডাইৰেক্ট ডিবাগ কৰিব পাৰিম and here also you can see javascript example hello world so this is running from the local host and visual web developer program so these are some platform where you can create HTML pages, ASP pages, and JavaScript file. You can use style sheet here, mail style sheet directly. You can use styles in the pages. Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. We are listening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is how also you can use JavaScript along with your HTML5 using some other tools apart from using Notepad files. So that is all today I wanted to discuss with you. Because of time constraint, I will not be able to continue for more times. So now I will share these documents to the organizers, and you have to practice it. Okay, and if you have any queries regarding all the code, you can send me some messages.
Thank you, sir. Sir has covered all the topics that are given in the syllabus. Thank you so much, sir. Sare gutteikhini iman dhuniake iman kom homoyor bhitor bujai dile. আই হোপ কি পাৰ্টিচিপেণ্ট খিনিয়ে বহুত ভালকে বুজি পালে, সেইকাৰণে মানে কোনো একো সোধাই নাই, চবে ইমান ভালকে চাই আছে মানে। So এতিয়া on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank the principal sir of Tinsukia College and principal ma'am of MDKG College for their support and motivation for organizing this lecture series. I would like to thank Dr. Anju Bora ma'am, Vice Principal of MDKG College, for her precious time. And most importantly, I would like to thank Dr. Ujjal Saikia sir for sharing his valuable knowledge with us. Thank you so much, all of you.